Yes, good evening, sir.
Yeah,
Happy to have you on a very a good day of celebrating 151 Gandhi Jayanti. And as I said, very honored to have you speak about your journey with Kali Yuva Mane. We welcome you to this session, me being a secretary of Rotary E-Club of eConnect. We are really honored to have you with us. Now I request our President Subhir to welcome you and take the session forward.
Thank you very much. Sir, it's a great pleasure to have you here in this program. And we are Rotary Online
thanks a lot.
edition of the club, and many of our members who are spread around the world. And I'm sure that your message would spread far and wide. And we are leveraging a lot of digital uh, approach to the messaging. That is, we keep the sessions also hosted for people to look at sessions at time of their choosing. So I think I'll just take a minute about the occasion and why we felt that you are one of the persons who can spread the right word, right message at this time. Is my voice echoing? Is it
No, 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 it's okay. Only thing you have to speak a little louder.
okay? Maybe I have to come close to the mic. And if the audio is bad, then maybe I'll switch off my video.
Yeah.
So yeah, so given that this is 151st birth anniversary of Gandhi, and given the turmoil the world is going through, and I think Gandhi becomes more and more relevant. At one point in time, people raise this question whether Gandhi will be relevant 50 years down the line. But what we realize that the world is passing through such upheaval that over a period of time, the message of Gandhi becomes more and more relevant. And some of the things that come to my mind, of course, is that a couple of things which have stuck to me. One is that be the change you want to see. Second is, of course, what Einstein mentioned about Gandhi, that uh, in the future people will hardly believe that a man like Gandhi ever walked on this earth. I mean, the statement may have been a bit longer, but the essence is the same, that whether a person ever could have done so much with the means what Gandhi had. And I think even in today's context, the Atmanirbhar initiative, what the country is going through, I think Gandhi was very far-sighted. He had seen about the self-sufficiency of the smaller communities and smaller economic systems. And today, I think we are again looking back how we can make our rural subsystems self-sufficient. So I think there is a lot of message, and I feel that it makes sense for everybody to read Gandhi again and again. And I think that he's evergreen in his ideas, and I think he'll be always relevant. Now, for our friends on this session, let me just share a few words about uh, Mr. Anand Kumar. That, of course, he will share about his journey much more. But I think he has. I have never had a chance to meet him, but I have had a chance to read upon him as well as speak about him with Ms. Joyita. He had also mentioned about her visit to the trust, and he's doing a phenomenal work. And I think one of the Mr. Anant is, I think, one of the practicing Gandhian in today's times. Okay, he possibly practices what Gandhi had said in many ways. So, in brief, of course, he has initiated the Deepa Trust, and he also runs this Kali Yuva Mane, which is essentially a sort of a residential alternate school, which is co-educational as well as eco-friendly. And what the message is, it's a school for children, and it's a way to bring the informal schooling for the children who are out of the school, or how to bring them into the track of the age and expertise level, how you can bring the the students who have fallen behind in some ways. That's what I read also. And I think, in a way, I'll say that it's a sort of a what you call is a thought, rather than, I will say, not having too much of vast assets and all, but it's a matter of thought, what we call in Hindi as ek soch hai, right? I think that is the essence of it, and I have been inspired, and I have also been, or many a times I have thought in my personal capacity that someday I'll run a school. And I think many of people who are in their careers and all think the same. At some point they will run a school or an old age home or whatever. And I think this is the day that we can hear from Mr. Anand, his journey, and I am sure that he will be inspiring us much more. Thank you very much. And with this, I leave the floor open to Mr. Anand. Thank you, sir.
So, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I'm Anant from Mysore. Today is the Gandhi Jayanti day. In fact, I gave around 6 talks about Gandhiji, which was aired on All India Radio, Karnataka, all the stations. So, presentation to open. I will run the presentation. Connection is unstable. Just a second.
No problem, sir. You're able to share the screen. You have the access, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Password. So, Gandhiji greetings to all of you. I'll share the presentation to all of you. I think it is visible.
Not yet.
Not yet. It
Not
just
yet.
showed Zoom. It shows the
Just
Zoom screen. Yeah.
Yes.
It is visible to now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Gandhi Jayanti greetings to all of you. Okay.
Thank you,
And his quotes are many. And as you told, sir, he's relevant. After 150 years, maybe after 300 years, he will be still relevant. And one statement he tells, you can postpone college education for months or years, but you cannot postpone school education, primary education, not even for a day. So, all the distinguished Rotarians, I welcome you to a free residential, co-educational, eco-friendly, alternative school model called as Kali Yuva Mane. Kali Yuva Mane means home for learning. The whole philosophy of the school is children for school from to school for children. So we are ready to bend any rule in favor of the children. So our core beliefs are what? I think you all agree with me if you say natural resources and human resources are two vital ingredients needed for development of the society, country, and the world. We have more natural resources than Japan. We have 132 crore human beings, but somewhere we have failed to convert human beings into human resources. What is that which converts human beings into human resource? Education. It is a tool to transform ordinary human being into a human resource. Every educated person with values is an asset to his or her country in particular and to the world at large. See, Edison, he was a citizen of America, but he contributed to the world. Ramanujan, Rabindranath Tagore, everybody contributed because educated person with values. We believe in this core beliefs. And what does it convert opportunity deprived children to self-reliant citizens? It is not just school. It depends on several factors. Maybe food, the shelter, child-centered education, and the love, care, and empathy. When all these things are given to an opportunity deprived child, any child, it becomes a self-reliant citizen. This is the belief with which we are working and with which we started the school. Let us have a look at the rural education scenario. And the photo, top left-hand side, top photo, is the work where I started my work in 1992. I did my engineering. Then I was working for about 11 years in various industries. I had a very turbulent childhood. I didn't derive the joy from my engineering job. It didn't give me enough satisfaction. I joined Vivekananda Kendra. I was serving it for about 1.5 years. Then I decided to devote my life for a better cause. Came and settled in this village called as Sri Rampura. Morning and evening, I started conducting classes. So now present the rural educational scenario, how it is. I'll read the statement of World Bank. In rural India, nearly 3/4 of students in grade 3 could not solve a 2-digit subtraction such as 46 minus 17, and by grade 5, half still could not do so. This is again corroborated by survey done by Pratham voluntary organization. Why we can barge into any primary school, any school, government or private, in a rural school, we can understand this crisis. So this learning crisis is a moral and economic crisis. World Bank Group President Jim Yong Kim said, when delivered well, education promises young people employment, better earnings, good health, and a life without poverty. For communities, education spurs innovation, strengthens institutions, and fosters social cohesion. However, these benefits depend on learning, and schooling without learning is a wasted opportunity. More than that, it's a great injustice. So most of our children in Kali Yuva Mane, they come from rural background. Parents are illiterates. Infrastructure at the school is not up to the mark. Such children. So when I started the school, not even a school, somehow I felt the passion. Morning and evening, free time, I started teaching kids. It was a wonderful experience for me. The house used to be very small, maybe 12 by 12 feet. Parents ignorant, at least 75% of the cases. Father used to drink. He used to be alcoholic. So either sometimes wife, sometimes children used to be the victim of his violence. So there was no absolutely learning environment at their homes. Come to the school. There were 40 to 50 children in a class. A single teacher. He has to teach for all the 40 to 50 children, and their academic levels were different. Learning pace were different. Sometimes he used to focus on front benches. Last benches used to get upset. They used to poke somebody else. They used to make galata. They used to make noise. It used to irritate the teacher. An irritated teacher cannot do justice. So this used to combine. Even in the school, there was no learning environment. Maybe 20% used to learn well, rest, no. So that was a great learning for me in that Sri Rampura village. So almost from 92 to 97, I started teaching there. It was going on. I was very happy with my own funds. I was working as a part-time lecturer. Then we started some village industries employing the village youth itself. Screen printing, computer, typing, desktop publication, and handmade greeting cards. And I started taking children on excursions. And we started a small library, a small computer lab. It used to give me a lot of happiness. In 1996, I married Padma. She's a polio victim. She is not only my wife, but a collaborator too. In 1999, somebody came and gave me 15,000 rupees as donation. We didn't have a receipt book also. And I was glad, but I didn't have the receipt book. So immediately thought came to me, we should register the trust. So in 1999, we registered the trust, Divya Deepa Charitable Trust. So again, I used to conduct, because with my wife started teaching English and I started teaching maths. We used to conduct games for the kids. I was very happy actually. Then in 2000, one more milestone happened. I received a surprise call from my ex-employer. He's from Pondicherry. I used to work in Pondicherry as an engineer. He used to like me. And I was so young, he used to introduce me to others as chief engineer. So he used to like me. Then I received a call from him, Anant, I want to see you. He came to my village and he was very happy, asked me, what happened to you? You changed your job 4 times or 5 times within 8 or 10 years. Now you are staying in this for 8 years. What is that has attracted you? I told him, I'm happy here. Then he told me, what do you want to do in life? I told him, I want to start a school for opportunity deprived children. He told me, come, I'm also happy with you. You worked in a factory, it has grown very well. Now it is my turn to give you a gift. So he promised to fund land for our school. So one is rural education scenario, this issue of school dropouts. This is during 1819, this is a survey done by Education Department. At least 70,116 children in Karnataka are out of school, nearly 5 times higher than last year's numbers as per the recent survey by the Education Department. Migration, parents' apathy, and lack of interest on the part of children to go to school are the primary reasons for this. But do they have school? A child drops out at the age of 12. What is its future? Do they have school? Can he join a 12-year-old child with a knowledge of around 4th standard? Can he be intake after 3 years if he wants to join a school? Can he join the school? No. Our system, there are no schools for school dropouts. The issue of dyslexic children. The incidence of dyslexia, learning disability in India, is believed to be 15% which amounts to nearly 35 million dyslexic children, according to Press Information Bureau, Government of India, Ministry of Science and Technology. These children find reading, writing, and spellings very difficult and suffer from anxiety and low self-esteem. We have all seen Tare Zameen Par movie. Wonderful movie. We admire. But are there any schools for such children? 15% is not a small amount to be neglected or to be ignored. So what are their future? Maybe if they are from middle class families, okay, somebody will take care of them. But if they belong to the rural BPL families, nobody cares. Even now, we don't have a system in our school to evaluate whether the child is dyslexic or not. Now, I would like to share with you some success stories. Shweta,
I was not interested in studies, so teachers started neglecting me. I was beaten also. I started bunking classes. Finally, I dropped out the school. One day, my mother had gone to Kaliyuvamane. She was washing vessels. I was so happily playing on a swing. My elder sister was helping my mother. Brother asked her to join Kaliyuvamane, but she did not agree. But I liked the atmosphere. I wanted to join. So I raised my hand until I got the attention of brother. So at an age of 10 years, on a Sunday, I joined Kaliyuvamane. After a few weeks, I saw children learning so happily. I also started learning from alphabets and numbers. Here, teachers were like my sisters, brothers, and my friends. But 3 years passed. I went home for summer holidays. My mother forced me to go to Bangalore. Happy. I passed my 10th standard examination in English medium at the age of 15 years. I was so happy. Presently, I am working in Lalita Mahal Palace Hotel, Mysore, as a front office trainee. Sometimes I ask myself, if I had not raised my hand on that day, where would I have been now?
So at the age of 10, she joins our school. She doesn't know alphabets. In the mainstream school, she cannot be integrated with knowledge appropriate UKG or LKG because it will be a humiliation for Shweta. Or she cannot be integrated with age appropriate 5th standard or 6th standard. Again, it will be humiliation because she cannot understand the lessons. But within 6 years, within 5 years, she joined our Kaliyuvamane in 2005. She completed in 2010. Then she was working. Then she got trained in Lalita Mahal Palace. 2 years she underwent front office assistant. Now she is with an event management company. She's happy. Now she is 23 years old. Next, Danish will speak to you.
I am Danish from Bengaluru. Though we had difficulties at home, my mother encouraged me to study. I never used to go to school regularly. I was happy exploring streets of Bengaluru. This made my mother unhappy. One of her friends told her about Kaliyamane, so I had to join Kaliyamane 3 years before. I was 13 years then. I thought Kaliyamane was also another regular residential school, but gradually I started liking the environment here. There was no punishment. I was encouraged to study, so I started studying. This year I have appeared for 10th standard board exams, and I hope that I will get a good marks. I want to become a good teacher in my future.
So, as he promised, he passed 10th standard examination. Then he had come to our place maybe 6 months ago. He told that he would join diploma course. So I always feel education is a power. Then one more story of Mahesha.
Hi, I'm Mahesh. I'm from Dungali village. My parents are illiterates. My father is a daily wager. I studied till 6th standard in my village. At the same time, my father heard of Kaliyamane and admitted me. I could not make out whether Kaliyamane was a school or a home. We were taught through activities. There was plenty of freedom and love. We were learning happily. No exams. I coped up well as I got individual attention. In the year 2010, I cleared my 10th standard. And last year, I got my degree in business management with first class. I am 21 now. I manage accounts of Jivedya Trust. My dream is to get a job in banking sector. I am already the chief manager of Kids Bank here.
Again, Mahesha also, rural underprivileged family. He completed his degree at the age of 20, BBM degree, and he served our organization as an accountant, as an office manager for 5 years. Yesterday, he got a job in a corporate company in Mysore itself as an accountant. Maybe I think he must be here somewhere. Oh, Mahesh, come afterwards. One more success story of Hemant. 12-year-old Hemant belonged to a below poverty line family. He had completed 7th standard from an English medium school because there is a craze for English medium schools even in villages. He was put into an English medium school. He was subjected to humiliation at home and school as he was a slow learner. So he couldn't learn at the expected pace. He was brought to Kaliyamane by his parents in the year 2010. We asked few questions. He couldn't answer. Then we sent him to All India Institute of Speech and Hearing for a psychological assessment. As per psychological report of All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, his IQ was 100, but his academic level was beginner of 3rd standard, age was 12. Is there any school for him? He joined us. He completed 10th standard public examination in the year 2014. Then again, he completed the ITI, Industrial Training Institute vocational course, and currently working with Asian Paints. So, all these children, they don't have schools in the mainstream system. Millions. In Karnataka, there are 73,000 children dropped out last year. Since 10 years, we don't know. All India level, we don't know. How many dyslexic children? We don't have school. Rural, underprivileged children, there is a problem. So we thought of starting a school and creating a model. And this was based on my work in another village, Srirampura village, for about 1992 to 2004. As I told you, my ex-employer came and we got the land in 2003. And land was barren. it had a sericulture rearing shed and one chalky room. Myself and my wife came and settled in the chalky room. Transformer was around 2 kilometers from our place. Voltage used to be very low. Only during midnight we used to get water. 2005, we chopped off few trees and erected a small hut. We printed some leaflets and distributed to the villagers. Later on, I felt that was also not necessary because villagers were not in a position to read. It was a waste of money. And there was no teachers, no registration of the school, no buildings, and bank balance was 5,600 rupees, except we had 2 acres of 33 guntas land given by my Shah, ex-employer. But God's grace was there, plenty. God's grace was there. We put our own money. Erected a hut, and we started the school. Myself, my wife. So what are the model actually? Admission process is throughout the year. Because difficulties will not come looking at the calendar. A child may become orphan in June or December or February. So we take children. Parents or guardian give written consent regarding the acceptance of Kaliyumani education system because it is still, after 15 years of running, this is not a registered school. Parents give an affidavit. We know that it is not a registered school, yet we are going to put our children there. And documents. That's what I thought. Many times, because parents are ignorant, they will not be having birth certificate of the child, TC, etc., transfer certificate, etc. But we take time. We take children. Because child is more important. Child's future is more important than documents. The moment a child enters, it need not come to the class. Enough time is given before attending classes. During this period, teachers will observe each child very closely. What are his plus points? What are his negative points? How is emotional intelligence? How is intelligence code? Some are very smart, street smart. They're not knowing alphabets also. And very good emotional ambience prevails here. Because for learning, an uncluttered mind is required. And love, care, empathy creates uncluttered mind. As I told you, children are not divided into age-appropriate first standard, second standard, third standard, etc. Instead, children are grouped into dynamic teams based on their academic levels, pace of learning, emotional acceptance of children, etc. And tentative names are given, meaningful. Chilipuli, Chiguru, Tejas, Pragati. Now one more team is there, we formed. What is the name? Kirti, correct. Kirti. And these team names are often changed because they should not compare. See, Kirti means if you standard children, they should not compare. The advantage of the system is, in a mainstream school system, a child doesn't understand second standard lessons. It cannot be moved back to the first standard level. It's a humiliation. A child that doesn't understand 7th standard lessons. No, we cannot send him back to the 6th standard. But here, changing children from Tejas to Pragriti, they won't understand. Just for learning sake, we keep changing the children from team to team, and we keep changing the team names also. Then again, language. The education should be in Kannada medium or English medium. This is a big debating question. Kaliyumani is neither a conventional English medium school nor a Kannada medium school. Core subjects are taught in English as well as Kannada to all the children. See, morning I teach physics and maths for 10th standard kids. First, I teach physics as an English teacher. Suppose if I'm teaching Ohm's law or Newton's law, first I teach spellings of each word, meaning of each word, how it is used. For laws, okay, Faraday's laws. Laws means LAWS or LOSS. I'll teach kids. Then only I become a science teacher. Children write the 10th standard examination in English medium, either at the age of 15, and if they join late, maybe 2-3 years later. Children are encouraged to speak from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. only in English, and a separate room is designated for learning English. This is a rainwater harvesting tank. A teacher is teaching. On the rainwater harvesting surface, we have written volume of water it contains, what is the formula for calculating volume of a cylinder. Whole campus, we would like to make children learning friendly. This is measuring the angle by opening the door. No fear instilling annual examination conducted till 10th standard board examination. Because what is the purpose of examination? Conducting an examination to know whether a child has learned or not. If a child has learned, to teach the advanced topics. If a child has not learned, repeat. That's what we do here. So instead, informal weekly tests are conducted to quantify the child's progress. If a child has not learned, teachers find alternative ways of making a child learn, or another teacher teaches the same topic. As far as possible, learning is activity-based. This is innovations in Kali Yuva Mane.
Only out-of-system children.
Out-of-system school. I was a child laborer who wanted to learn.
I am dyslexic, but I want to study.
A school that gives underprivileged children an opportunity of a lifetime. Meet Anant, the brain behind this experimental school. Known as the home for learning or Kali Yuva Mane in Kannada, this school doesn't practice age-based academic levels. Students are allowed to pursue their interests and their aptitude is tested by teachers who patiently get to know them. A unique curriculum is designed based on every student's needs. As a substitute to the grading system, children are placed into teams based on their strengths. The subjects cover a wide variety of the spectrum, ranging from math and science to personal hygiene and even stretching to life skills like wood cutting and tailoring. Every day, students are given stars based on their behavior. These stars are either blue, red or golden for regular, bad and good behavior respectively. Each of these stars has a monetary value associated with it. When a student receives many red stars, the teacher files a case and the student is taken to a mock court. The mock court has a legitimate judge who gives a verdict for the case after hearings involving by the petitioner, accused and the witnesses. When a student accumulates many blue and golden stars, they are given a fake check for the money earned. They deposit the check at the school's bank and exchange it for fake money. With this fake money, they can purchase daily needs like stationery from the school store. Believe it or not, this out-of-system school achieves more than 95% results. A majority of India's schools are rigid and primary importance lies in textbooks and academics. Taking a route out of the system clearly makes a big difference. Stay on the ground with me until we make it.
And as I told you, Kali Yuva Mane is a hub of activities. We have vocational training center. They repair our clothes. Now we have started regular tailoring section. This is our science lab. We celebrate a lot of festivals, Independence Day, Republic Day, and Rajyotsava Day. Children only run the entire show. We grow our own vegetables organically. Even Ganesha idol is made by children by hand. They painted with eco-friendly colors. And this is a strange way. Youth are involved in a primary school. So, what are the facilities at Kaliyomane? This is a school block. Then this is the boys' dormitory. It can accommodate around 72 boys. Then is a vocational training center and the girls' dormitory, very recently inaugurated on 2/2/2020. So 10th standard board exam results are numbers. 2005, Kaliyomane was started with 4 resident children. 2010, first batch of 7 children appeared for 10th standard board examinations. 2020, present capacity is around 100 children. Child laborers, the result 10th standard board examination, they appear in English medium. Child laborers, school dropouts, children with academic lag, children from broken families, rural children, emotionally sensitive children. Totally till now, 55 children have appeared, 53 have cleared, 21 have scored more than 60%. Learning disability children, 12 have appeared, till now 8 have passed. So, thank you for watching this small presentation. For more information, I welcome you all to our organization. Of course, I understand the limitations now, the period we are going through, Corona. Still we are running the school. We are running the school, keeping our gates closed. Children are staying here. Teachers are also staying. Visitors are not allowed to move with the kids. And children are being given C vitamin tablets and their immunity to enhance the immunity levels. All children are happy and the school is running. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, wonderful walkthrough to your journey, sir. It was so inspiring to listen to it. I also take this opportunity to welcome our Assistant Governor, Rotarian Shankar Shastri ji. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us in spite of your very busy schedule. I wish if you can say something because I think you're joining our sessions for the first time today. You're honored.
Namaste, namaste. Thank you very much for your warm welcome, madam. I'm really moved. I was listening closely to Mr. Anant Kumar and Kaliyu Mane, and what I could grasp. Kaliyu Mane is on the Manandwadi Road in Mysore. You're doing a wonderful job, Mr. Anant Kumar. So my salute to you, first of all, at the outset. And I joined a little later, but I heard you through in the later part. Then the travails that you have passed through, the determination that you had, that you wanted to do this, I cannot imagine. It's a wonderful thing. You're doing a human service to the society. And I'm really moved and very inspiring thing you're doing. I think this opens up a lot of opportunities. As Rotarians, I think we should work with people like you. Thank you very much. And the way of teaching, I was observing, you have taken a very pragmatic approach of teaching science through the water tank volumes or the measurement of angle through the door opening. Oh wow! I think you're touching the heart. Thanks once again. I have no words. Words fail me to tell anything more than this. And I must thank the new club with the president Rotarian Subir Dhar and Madam Gitanjali Dhar for providing this opportunity and inviting Mr. Anant Kumar. Another important thing what I felt is, I hail from Chamarajanagar, Anant Kumar, and I studied in Mysore. Chamarajanagar is my native place, and I studied in Mysore. Okay, I studied in Sharda Vilas, Marimalappa, Sharda Vilas, and all that. And quite naturally, I have that attachment to that city. And it's a city of education. Yeah. Many great people, great teachers have come out from Mysore. Even today, it is venerated highly for that quality of Mysore. Okay, and you are doing a wonderful job. What I can say, Mr. Anant Kumar, whenever I am in Mysore next time, I will try to visit your place. Secondly, if you are not in touch with any Rotary Club in Mysore, please do that. I will give you contacts for that. Sure. Yeah, because Rotary definitely will support this kind of activities. Some they may not know. Probably either you are not approached or they may not know about you, sir. So kindly do that. And I'm really thanks once again. And I feel very proud, both the President and Madam Gitanjali and Rotarian Subirji, to be part of eConnect Club as Assistant Governor. And I look forward, the greater association with you to have more good, such excellent sessions and be with you for this kind of events. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Just I wanted to make an announcement that I have already committed to Anant Kumar, sir, that from our club, as part of our Reach to Read initiative, we will be giving them 200 books, like new books, which the children can enjoy.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Gitanjali, madam.
Yeah, thank you. And President, you want to say something?
Thank you very much. It was such a beautiful session, such a beautiful discussion to walk through this whole journey of Mr. Anand. It is really very, very inspiring. And I believe that given the size of the enormity of the problem that we as a nation and we at Karnataka are facing about the dyslexia, it was something very uh, news to me, or I was not knowing about the size of the the problem that we are staring about the dyslexia students, right? And I wish that many people, many youngsters and many others do come up and create, maybe taking Mr. Anand's template, and maybe start such initiatives much more, while supporting Mr. Anand's initiatives too. And from our club, we will certainly try, we'll do our best to collaborate with Mr. Anand and be a junior partner to see that his dreams and ideas, what he has in the next 5 years, 7 years, we are sort of supporting him in his journey. That's, I think, sort of a small commitment from our club. That is what we can, sort of commit at this point. So thank you very much, Mr. Anand. You are really very inspiring. It has been a very enlightening session for all of us here.
Anyone else has got any question? Sharmishta? I'll just check the Facebook line.
No question yet.
Okay.
So while if any other question comes up, maybe I can take the opportunity to take a minute and ask Mr. Anand. So Mr. Anand, you have covered a long journey.
Yeah.
So what is, I mean, it is a big journey, and it has been sacrifices also on the way. Now, I would like to know, what is your plan for the next 5 years? I mean, it's a very, I mean, you can say 5 years to 7 years. Necessary in a way, what is the sort of a thought process that you have some years from now?
I will put it this way. One is short-term plans, one is long-term planning. So the problem is enormous, very huge. How many dropouts are there? How many child labors are there? How many dyslexic children are there? How many rural children with huge academic lags? We cannot address everybody. But Thomas Alva Edison, he took time to create a bulb. So we are trying to create a model first, then present this model before the government. Because in Mysore, you must be knowing Regional Institute of Education. They did almost 4 days they came here. They brought drone. They're making a 45 minutes documentary on our school and presenting it to the union government. So my first short-term goal is to make this as a model. Especially during this Corona crisis, we got a lot of issues with the teachers. Earlier, many teachers used to come from cities. Now they cannot come because it's a risk. Because children cannot practice social distance. Children cannot wear masks also. And they might go and hug teachers. So in this scenario, we are determined to go for teachers, rooms at least. At least 4 single room accommodation. So that one for maths teacher, one for science teacher, one very good English teacher we have. That solves our problem. Then we would like to start a teacher's training course because this needs special teacher. Any teacher from urban, even if they are educated, they ask me the question, which standard, which textbook shall I follow? It's very difficult for us, We have to start a teacher's training program so that this becomes a replicable model. Any NGO can start, or even it could be open for even urban dyslexic children also. It could be on a payment basis also. This is our dream. So to make it self-sustainable, we need some funds for teachers. That is the one thing, biggest challenge for us, especially after Corona. Teacher salary, otherwise fine actually. Then we should have a building for teachers. That is a long term. Teachers Training Institute. These two. Long term is Teachers Training Institute after 3 or 4 years. till then, at least 2 single room, 4 for teachers to stay. Then the impact of the school and children will be much more.
Yeah, Shankar Shastri sir has a question. What was the inspiration for you to take up this service?
One is I had a very turbulent childhood. See, when I was 12, I lost my mother. Then after 6 months, I lost my father. Of course, I did my engineering. Then my mother had given me a book on Vivekananda when I was 5th standard. Then we had Mahayogi, a lesson on Sri Aurobindo. So these two were great inspiration. Then I was in Vivekananda Kendra also. So these had a profound influence on me to start this. And I didn't derive much happiness from my jobs. I wanted to discover my source of happiness. I found in this. So I was stuck with this.
Yeah, sir, Shankar Shastri sir, you can ask that question. I mean, tell about the training agency yourself.
Okay. First of all, thanks, Mr. Anant Kumar. That was really great to know about the inspiration part, what you explained just now. Yeah. And the second thing, what I had mentioned in the chat box, there is one institute called Pratham in Mysore. I don't know whether you have heard about them.
Yeah, I have heard.
Okay. I heard about them. What they do is they associate with Rotary at international level. We do a lot of projects actually I belong to Rotary Yelahanka. Okay. And Rotary Yelahanka and Rotary West together with another US this one charitable trust like Pragati. With the help of Pratham, we are educating teachers training we are conducting. From Bangalore to Chamranagar belt. There are about 150 government school teachers as well as the young children at the age of primary school children are being given training, a kind of perpetual training. Like how you explained, they also make very practical way of learning in villages. They train the children so their grasping power increases tremendously. This has been measured. And this project is going on for a few years now already, very successfully. We have something called global grants in Rotary. We get fundings from the global Rotary to do this kind of projects. So Pratham is doing a wonderful job in doing it. So what I was thinking, our new club, eConnect is also a new club. We can connect with the Pratham also. And we can see what kind of value we can create out of this kind of association. They are already into Rotary, they're servicing, they do teacher training and all that. I don't know at this point in time what they can do and how you can be benefited right now. But certainly it will have some impact and effect. Probably we'll connect with you on that point through our President Rotarian Subirji and Madam Gitanjali. Okay. Thanks, Anand sir. Once I get your number, madam, you kindly share Mr. Anand's number also.
Yeah.
So I will connect him on the Rotary clubs of Mysore also, so that he will be closer to the Rotary available nearby. One. And second, this Pratham we will discuss together.
Sure. I will share his number. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I think can we wind up, Sharmishta?
Okay.
Yeah, I invite our membership club services director, Sharmishta, to say a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. We had our making moments. We learned today about your Kaliyuv Mane, free alternative residential school, also called Home for Learning. The issues are many: issue of orphan children, issue of dyslexic and learning disability, issue of BPL children. So sir, how Anand sir and his Divya Deepa Trust has customized the school based on the need of each child is something to adopt as a model. More activity-based learning schools instead of age-based should come up. Hearing about Shweta, Danish and especially Mahesh are truly inspiring. People visiting Mysore should also visit this school. Please, whoever is watching this video, request you to do that. To end, I quote Nelson Mandela, "History will judge us by the difference we make in the everyday lives of children." Over to you, Geetanjali.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Shankar Shastri ji, for like we are really honored to have two great people with us, and we'll look forward to more such sessions where we all get inspired. And as Rotarians, we always believe in that, like service about self, and these sessions just like takes us towards those goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thanks a lot.
Bye
Thanks a lot,
bye.
Geetanjali,
Thank
madam.
you, sir.
Bye bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.